Timothy Treadwell was a man on a mission to protect and conserve the grizzly bears of Alaska. For 13 summers, he lived among the bears, studying them and filming them. But in October of 2003, Treadwell and his girlfriend met a tragic end at the jaws of a grizzly. It's a tale of passion and caution, one that will leave you questioning the true nature of the wild. As a child, animals always captivated Timothy Treadwell. He had a pet squirrel named Willie, who he loved very much. But his actual dream was to one day live among the wildest creatures on Earth. He couldn't wait to be in the company of those majestic beasts and experience their raw, natural power. One hot summer day, Treadwell finally got his wish. He found himself face to face with a wild bear in the wilderness. This beast was enormous, towering above him with hot breath on his face, its powerful muscles rippling beneath its fur. Treadwell was both frightened and mesmerized by the sight. As the bear looked into his eyes, something inside Treadwell stirred, and he knew that he had found his true calling. From that moment on, his destiny was entwined with that of the bears. He spent every waking moment studying bears and their habits, becoming an expert on their behavior. He read every book, watched every video, and talked to every expert he could find in order to gain more understanding about these creatures. It was not only an obsession, it was his passion. One day, Treadwell decided it was time to take his knowledge to the next level by living amongst the bears, not just observing them from a distance. He knew the risks, but he was determined to prove that bears could live amongst humans withoat harm. He packed his bags and he set off on the adventure of a lifetime. He camped on the Big Green, an open area of bear grass in Hollow Bay on the Katmai coast. He called this area the Grizzly Sanctuary and spent the early part of each season there, getting closer to the bears. But Treadwell's methods were controversial. Some experts argued that he was getting too close to the bears and harassing wildlife, while others praised him for his dedication to the animal conservation effort. Treadwell himself claimed that he was always careful with the bears and that he developed a very special bond with them. Despite the criticism, Treadwell continued to document his encounters with the bears, recording close to a whopping 100 hours of video footage and taking countless photographs. He shared his experiences with the world through his documentaries and public appearances, educating school children about bears and appearing on television shows like the Discovery Channel and Dateline NBC. As the years passed, Treadwell's passion for bears only grew stronger. He spent every moment that he could in the wilderness, living among them and learning more about them. He became convinced that he could protect these bears from harm, and he was determined to make that happen. But as Treadwell's obsession grew, so did the danger. He found himself taking more risks, getting closer to the bears, and putting himself in increasingly precarious situations. His love for the animals was unwavering, but it was also blinding. He couldn't see that his actions were putting not only himself at risk, but also the bears. Despite the warnings from park rangers, wildlife experts, and friends, Treadwell refused to back down. He was convinced that his methods were the only way. He continued to push the boundaries, refusing to listen to anyone who tried to steer him in a different direction. In the end, Treadwell's love for bears would ultimately be his downfall. In October of 2003, Timothy Treadwell and his girlfriend Amy Hunard were in Alaska's Katmai National Park, camping in an area known as the Grizzly Maze, where the chances of encountering bears were much higher because of the intersecting bear trails there. On October 5th, when air taxi pilot Willie Fulton arrived at Timothy Treadwell and Amy Hunard's campsite in the Alaskan wilderness, he was confronted with a disturbing scene. The once peaceful campsite was now filled with the sounds of screams and the sight of a large brown bear feasting on a pile of remains. Timothy and Amy Hunard could not be located. The sight was nothing less than traumatic. The rangers from the renowned Katmai National Park, alerted by the frantic and worried Fulton, quickly hastened to the secluded and tranquil campsite nestled deep in the heart of the dense, verdant Alaskan wilderness. Upon arriving at the site, the rangers, with their expertise and experience, meticulously scoured the area, carefully analyzing and scrutinizing every detail. The couple's sturdy yet flimsy tents lay in shambles, shredded and torn. The remains of a meticulously prepared evening meal meant to nourish and sustain the campers lay scattered about, discarded and untouched. Personal items such as shoes, left outside the door of one of the tents, provided further evidence of a sudden and abrupt departure. As they searched the campsite, the rangers made a gruesome discovery: a small mound of grass, mud, and twigs that upon closer inspection revealed human fingers and an arm protruding from it. The rangers were horrified. They'd never seen anything quite like it. They continued to search the campsite, and soon they came across an even more disturbing sight. The head of Timothy Treadwell was found nearby, connected to a small piece of the spine. His right arm was detached from his body, still wearing a wristwatch. It was a gruesome scene, one that will haunt the rangers for the rest of their lives, one has to assume. The rangers found Timothy Treadwell's video camera at the campsite, which recorded the entire attack. The footage of the attack showed Treadwell's girlfriend Amy asking if the bear was still nearby, before Treadwell can be heard screaming for help. You can hear Amy shouting for Treadwell to play dead as she exits the tent and attempts to fend the bear off with a frying pan. Treadwell's screams eventually turn to moans as the bear continues its attack. The bear makes no noise during the entire event. Try to imagine it. You're deep in the wilderness. You're surrounded by nothing but towering trees and the sounds of the wild. Without warning, the sound of rustling leaves and branches emanates from the bushes nearby. Your heart races as a massive, wild bear emerges from the bush, its eyes locked onto yours. You realize with a cold, paralyzing fear that you are face to face with one of the most dangerous creatures on Earth. With death, most likely. You know that you should stay calm. You should make yourself look as big as possible. But your mind is racing. Every instinct in your body is telling you to run. But you know that would be a fatal mistake. You can feel the adrenaline pumping through your veins, your heart pounding in your chest. How would you react in a situation like this? Would you have the knowledge and preparation to survive such an encounter? The truth is, many people believe that they would, but the reality is, it's impossible to predict how one would react until they are face to face with a wild animal. For more content like this, hit the subscribe button. The fact that the only evidence of the attack was the chilling sounds captured on the tape left investigators to speculate that the camera may have been tucked away in a bag, or that it was too dark to capture the gruesome event. But as filmmaker Herzog suggests, the lens cap of the camera was still on, making it all the more horrifying to imagine Treadwell and Hunard setting up for another video shoot just moments before the attack. The camera, which had been turned on just before the attack, recorded a mere 6 minutes of audio before running out. But those 6 minutes contained enough terror to send shivers down anybody's spine. The bear's initial attack on Treadwell, his desperate screams, the bear's retreat after Hunard begged Treadwell to play dead, the bear's attack on Hunard, and finally, the bear's return to carry Treadwell off into the darkness. The bear that had killed Treadwell and his girlfriend was eventually found and shot by park rangers. As they gutted the animals, they made a gruesome discovery. The bear's stomach was filled with 4 bin bags full of human remains. The couple had been completely consumed by the 1,000-pound, 28-year-old male bear. It was later found that the bear had been struggling to find food that season. It was an older bear with broken teeth, with difficulty finding and catching prey. This revelation only added to the tragedy of the event. The bear may not have attacked Treadwell and his girlfriend out of aggression, or because of Treadwell's actions, but because it was struggling to survive. It was discovered that the bear had been fed by Treadwell and Hunard in the past, and it had become accustomed to human interaction. This likely contributed towards the bear's behavior towards the couple. One interesting aspect of the story that few people may know is that after Treadwell's death, his remains and personal effects were returned to the family in California. However, his mother, Jewel Pelovac, kept his video footage and used it to create a documentary about his life and work with the bears. The documentary, called Grizzly was released in 2005 and directed by Werner Herzog. It includes some of the footage from the attack on Treadwell and Hunard, as well as interviews with Treadwell's friends and family and commentary from Herzog himself. The film received critical acclaim, and it brought further attention to Treadwell's story. The couple's demise was a haunting reminder of the potential consequences of disregarding the boundaries between humans and wild animals, no matter how friendly they might seem. While it's important to respect and to appreciate the beauty of nature, it's also essential to remember that these creatures are not domesticated. They can be unpredictable in their behavior. One minute they can be your friend, and in the next, your meal. They have no sympathy in that way, as Treadwell unfortunately learned. Today, visitors to the Katmai National Park can learn more about Treadwell's life and his incredible journey he undertook in the pursuit of passion. The park offers guided bear viewing tours, allowing visitors to see these incredible animals in their natural habitat and learn about their behavior and habits. As you stand at the edge of the wilderness, gazing out at the bears, it's hard not to wonder what went through Treadwell's mind in his last moments. Was it fear? Or was it acceptance? Regret? Or a sense of peace? Whatever it might have been, one thing is certain: Timothy Treadwell's story will never be forgotten. So the next time you come face to face with a wild animal, remember Timothy Treadwell and the lessons that he learned from bears. Stay safe, stay informed, and always respect the power of the natural world. Well, hey, did you like this video? Well then, watch this video next.